We are back. My next guest tonight, please welcome a very funny guy, Artie Lange.
Our next guest is one of the funniest guys there is. He eats devil dogs for breakfast and cigarettes for lunch. Hey, ladies, here he is, Artie Lange.
We're joined right now by a hilarious comedian. His latest project, the Artie Quitter podcast, is available through artiequitter.com. Please give a warm welcome to a good friend of the show. Here's Artie Lange, ladies and gentlemen.
Our next guest is a regular on the Howard Stern radio program and the author of this New York Times bestseller entitled Too Fat to Fish. Here he is, the very funny Artie Lange. Oh, Artie.
It always makes me laugh when I see Artie Lange on stage, knowing I'm going to outlive him.
A Jack Daniels swilling, pizza-eating, dog-hating, whore-using, cocaine-abusing, hairy-back, big-belly blowhard from New Jersey. The fat little bastard known as Artie Lange!
Hey, what's up, guys? Artie Quitter podcast. And tonight I got a fella on who I am a big fan of. He's a great writer. Did a lot of work for GQ magazine, and you know, he's just one of those guys. Did a lot of, I guess, freelance work where you saw him all over the place here and there, and owns dogs. And I, as he just heard.
That was my host tonight. It was their dog. I'm walking away. I'm walking away slowly from the dog now before he bites me.
That sounds like a lot of Cleveland hookers I've had.
Oh, God.
He's a Cleveland guy, is my point. But hey, I really got to be a big fan of his when I just read the title of a book he wrote called Scott?
Yeah.
What was that? We heard.
I'm sorry. Maybe it is my phone. I'm not sure.
We heard another big sound. Was that the phone?
Mm-hmm.
We heard the dogs, and then we heard what was that, Dan?
It sounded like it was a screen door?
I wasn't. I don't know what it was. I know that I'm walking out to my car because I know the reception's going to be.
Oh. Hello? Scott?
I'm here. I am here.
Okay.
Can you hear? I'm so sorry. Really.
No, listen. This is not 60 Minutes. It's fine. It adds to the entertainment. I just want to make sure you're. I want to make sure you're all right because it sounded, quite frankly, like the Gestapo came in and started hitting you in the head with a bat. Scott.
I think what happened is I walked into the wrong.
Scott. Don't edit any of this out. This is great. Scott?
We lost him.
All right, well, let's get, this is going to be a chance to have the Hostess Cupcake. Oh. I'm telling you, man. I'm addicted to the Hostess Cupcake show. Whenever my blood sugar's low or high or wherever, I have Hostess Cupcakes.
All right, it's
Scott. Is this us, Dan? It might be us.
No, it's not us. Cleveland Telecom, I guess.
No, this is the problem. This is why he's not really moved into the mainstream. I think whenever he does an interview, he gets cut off. Dan, wait and see if he calls us back.
I don't think he has a number.
Why not? Oh, we have to call him.
Yeah. I call him so that we can black out the call waiting. Oh. Scott, you there? Bluetooth?
Scott, do you have a landline?
I'm at a friend's house.
Does your friend have a...
I made.
Does your friend have a landline? This is the best interview we've ever done. Yeah, text him.
Okay.
Text him our number. Tell him to find the landline near Cleveland.
Oh, God.
Being a Muslim, which demands that you turn in even your parents, your husband, yourself, if you violate something that could endanger all of society.
Okay, and very quickly, you made a comment earlier about her ring.
Yes, I was troubled. I saw a picture of her in a car leaving in front of the press.
Scott?
And she was still wearing a fiery diamond ring, an engagement ring, which made me think, if one's husband had just committed mass murder, would you not want to destroy all symbols of your marriage to him? Maybe that was the expensive jewelry he bought,
Already
but
put
it
the-
was
put your
peculiar
headsets
to
on.
notice.
All right, Dr.
Put your headsets on.
Thanks so
This
much
might
for
be
being
funny.
with us. All right, Donald Trump slips in the polls. Lee
Hello?
is here, and we'll take a
Hello?
closer look at the new numbers.
Yeah,
Who's this?
this is Harrison's father, David. Is this Steve?
Who are you talking about? What?
Yes, this is Harrison's father.
Harrison?
Yeah, he's playing with Jaden.
Do you know someone named Scott Raab?
What's that?
Do you know a gentleman named Scott Raab?
Yeah.
Well, is he there?
I don't know. Is this Steve? Right, I'm talking to.
Yes, this is Steve.
Oh, Steve. Yeah, I just talked to your wife Jackie. She gave me the number, the house number to call.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm not talking to her anymore.
Who is this?
This is Steve.
Oh.
And Jack, quite frankly, Jackie and I are through. I can't stay in the house with that woman. All right. Yeah, this is going down as possibly the weirdest thing that's ever happened to us. Right?
Yes.
What happened? How did you talk to that African American gentleman?
He called the house.
He called here.
Yeah.
And said what? And said
This is Harrison. Is so and so there? So I noticed that it was an African American. I thought it might work to our advantage.
How'd you know it was an African American?
I could tell.
Do you realize how racist you are? How long before we just close a wrap?
I am so sorry.
I think Kenny Lofton answered the phone.
Every time I tried to make it better, it got worse.
Scott, honestly, I just have to ask you something. What the hell just happened? Who's Harrison?
Who's what?
Someone just called our house. He sounded African American. And
I have no idea. I don't know.
And so I said, "Do you know a guy named Scott Raab?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Who's this?" He goes, "Is this Steve?" I said, "No." I said, "Well, I played along." I said, "Yeah." He goes, He said, "This is Harrison's father."
Right.
You know someone named Harrison?
Well, there's a San Francisco Golden State Warrior named Harrison Barnes, but I have no idea who just called. None.
He said he knew Scott Raab, right?
He said he knew you.
But wait a minute. Yeah, wait 1 second. You called the wrong number.
No, the phone rang. You could hear it on the.
Okay, so the phone rang. So
Right.
how do you know it was someone with Scott?
I didn't know. I just heard a guy saying, "Is Harrison there? This is his father." So I figured.
Dan. Dan. Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought, Dan, I thought you knew that was someone in Scott's life.
No, I didn't know that.
You made it sound like it was. Scott, I apologize. Well, Dan,
don't worry.
Honestly, this is all being taped, right, Dan? I hope it is. Scott, just hang on a second. I apologize.
Will do.
So we're trying to get in touch with Scott, and then the phone, and I put the phone down. I said, well, we'll see what happens. So Dan then goes, Artie, pick up the phone. This could be funny. So I think it's someone involved with Scott because we've been trying back and forth, and there's a guy on the phone, sounds like a black guy, and he goes, this is Harrison's father. Is this Steve? And I said, no. I said, what are you talking about? I said, do you know? And there was a pause. I said, do you know someone named Scott Raab? And he said, yes. He said, yes. And then Dan, instead of Dan jumping up and going, wow, what an insane coincidence that a wrong number happens to know the guy we're trying to get in touch of, he just doesn't say anything. So I continue to think that Dan knows this is a guy who's staying with you, maybe, or this is the guy whose house you're at. And,
no,
that's who I thought it was.
Dan let me think that. So you really thought that, Dan?
Yes, that this was that Scott had walked out to his car,
right,
but had used maybe written down the number at this person's house, and this person called here,
right,
because they saw the number, or they saw the number on the caller ID.
So you, like I, thought this was someone in Scott's life?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, then. Okay, Scott. So I said, so I guess this guy was just retarded, maybe, and just said, "I'll say yes to anything." So I said to this guy, Scott, I don't want to put you on the spot because you don't racially profile like Dan and I do, but the guy sounded like, look. I mean, obviously, liberals have taught us that nobody speaks like stereotypes anymore. All Italians talk like Mario Cuomo. All black people talk like, Denzel Washington and blah, blah, blah. So, of course, I'm not asking you to say this. But to me and Dan, it sounded like what black people used to sound like in the 70s. And how they don't sound like anymore because we all have to be very politically correct. And I'm articulate, and no Italian sounds like Joe Pesci. No black guy sounds like Mickey Rivers. So we assumed it was a black guy, and he said, "Yeah, I did, man. Did Hass's father is Steve there?" And I said, "No." I said, "Do you know Scott Raab?" And he said, "Yeah." So then I said, okay, this is the guy who Scott. You said you were at a friend's house. I said, Scott's friend is Kenny Lofton, the old center fielder from the group. Now Scott's friend is a black guy who maybe knows from the world of sports. Maybe it's LeBron James's father. It could have been LeBron's mom. So I said, Delonte West is his friend, and so Scott's at Delonte West's house. Because in the back, how I knew it was Delonte West's house? Because in the background I heard, say it, bitch, say your son's going to win tonight. Say your son's going to win tonight. No. And, so I say to the guy, so he says yes to Scott Raab. Now it gets, like, weirder with the Twilight Zone. I said, can you put Scott on the phone? He goes, nah, is this Steve? So finally I said, fuck it. I said, yeah, this is Steve. I went along. He goes, well, I just talked to your wife, Jackie. So I said as a goof, I said, I'm not talking to Jackie anymore. Me and her broke up. I can't live with that woman. And he said, what? And then he hung up. And I say to Dan, was that someone, this is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to us. Was that who Scott's staying with? And he didn't know. And then, would you call Scott back?
Yes, I called him back.
And then you answered the phone.
Right.
Okay. So basically what happened, Scott, was the couple of cutoffs that happened with you caused me and Dan to think a wrong number was your friend. And we really, that was what the audience just heard was Dan and I really thinking that wrong number was your friend, and hung up. So we apologize. It sounds like you fixed out the phone thing, though.
I've tried. I've done everything I could possibly do to make this work.
Well, now listen, this is great. It's been, 7 minutes and you haven't had a cutoff here. There's no landline where you are. No, nobody has a landline anymore. We do. We're calling you. I guess I do feel ancient. The young people when I have sex with a lot of millennial girls, and they come. No, I'm old.
I'm old, and I don't have a landline.
You're more, well, you're a writer, so you probably email everything. And first of all, let me get this intro out I was trying to get out. And it looks like we have a line that works. In all honesty, we'll put all that ugliness behind us. This is a gentleman who I'm a huge fan of. Great writer, as I said before. A lot of work for GQ in the 90s. Every once in a while, I would read a great article on a plane. And, the writer's name a lot of times doesn't register. But I did read a lot of stuff that I enjoyed. And that this one writer happened to write when I was traveling, because you travel so much as a comic. And then a book came out called The Whore of Akron, which is a great name. And it's about LeBron James after he left Cleveland to go to Miami to take his talents to South Beach. And the author is the guy who was the writer I'm a fan of. His name's Scott Raab, and a really scathing look at LeBron's situation and why he went to Miami and how he felt, Scott, as a Cleveland guy when that happened. And now we're full circle. Full circle. Nick DiPaolo and I had the show Nick and Artie, and we had Scott in. Scott was nice enough to come into the studio. And Scott, at the time, what'd you weigh when you came in there?
Well, I'm not sure because I wasn't keeping track on a daily basis, but I peaked at about 380.
Okay, 380. So you were a big guy. And quite frankly, I was standing next to you. I looked like Callista Flockhart when she was doing Alan McBeal. And
yeah.
But a great guest, so funny, and a real Cleveland guy. And I found out this writer I was a fan of was this Cleveland guy, huge sports fan, and really had issue with LeBron, like every Cleveland fan did, and felt betrayed. Wrote this book, and really got on my radar. Now, recently, 30 for 30, the great ESPN series, did an ESPN Films that Scott produced called Believeland. Believeland, the little pun there, about Cleveland and the history of sports there, and where they are now, how they're making a surge. Have not had a championship, okay? You talk about the Cubs in Chicago. You talk about Red Sox. All those towns, Boston, Chicago, blah, 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 they all had another team from another sport win a championship, of course. So the Cubbies, had the Bears, had the Bulls. Boston always had the Celtics. But the Cleveland Indians, the Cleveland Browns, and the Cavs, not in 52 years have any of those guys won a title for the great city of Cleveland, the great people of Cleveland, the last one being Jim Brown with the Browns in 64. So you're talking like a big deal now. Scott, first of all, let me get this out of the way, because we'll go back and forth with the history and everything before I'm done. A real quick question at the top. If LeBron James wins a title in Cleveland, okay, and there's another chance for him to do that tomorrow night,
Yep.
Do you think it's possible for him to ever leave the Cavaliers again, like, and go to maybe the Lakers, if he gives you guys a ring, and really for some reason personally wants out, like his kids want to live in the sun or something like that? Is it possible for him to then, with you guys having a ring, leave and you guys not wanting to crucify him?
I think the answer to that is yes. If they can get it done tomorrow night, he has established the legacy and given me. I could only speak for one Cleveland fan, me, but
right.
seriously, he's free to do whatever. Mission accomplished. God bless him.
Right.
If he had won a ring during his first 7 years, and it's not his fault certainly that team wasn't good enough to win. But if he had left for Miami with a ring, I don't think anyone would have written a book called The Whore of Akron, because for 52 fucking years, I mean, that's a long time. All due respect to Cubs fans, and fans everywhere have every right to piss and moan about whatever they want. But here's a city, Cleveland, that's been going downhill in a lot of ways,
right,
over the course of those 50 years.
Right.
And every one of those stinking teams, and so if LeBron can get this done, I don't think anyone would begrudge him if he went to the Lakers or anywhere else.
Is that true? Wow. I mean, oh, wow. You know what? It's hard for me to believe that. I don't you think you'd want more? You get a taste of it. Don't you think you'd want him to stay here till?
Well, yes, I would want that. I would want him to stay. I would, but if he felt that, look, I wrote that book, and I called it what I called it, and I wouldn't change the title of the Whore of Akron for all the money in the well.
You should.
You know, but I mean, we're talking about a guy making a decision like you or me would professionally to take our talents wherever we thought it was best for us, for our families, whatever. He was entitled then to make that decision, but I was entitled to feel it as a betrayal. And I used LeBron's decision to go to South Beach to funnel 50 years of personal and sports misery and blame it all on a young athlete. And, I feel a little embarrassed, embarrassed that he came back.
My analogy is, like, you get a little taste of that championship. It's like me. I'm a heroin addict. It's like a little. You get a little taste of heroin. Like if my heroin dealer got me addicted to heroin, you'll be addicted to winning a championship, and you get that way. And then came to me and said, "Art, I've decided to take my heroin to South Beach." I would go, well, listen, I guess I'm moving to South Beach. No, you would be very mad. And then if he moved back and started giving you more heroin again, and you get then he goes somewhere else again, even after you have that high again, you'd be mad. I think what happened here is, and you're being very cool about this, I think you're being more rational than a lot of Cleveland people would be. I think he as long as he can play basketball, he better stay in Cleveland. I don't care how many he wins, because I think people would not be as rational as you're being.
Well, no. I mean, emotionally, I never would have written a book like that if I didn't love the guy as my guy. Guy who grew up in Northeast Ohio, a guy who understands our hunger, our hearts. He's, I mean, if I didn't love the guy, none of this is rational, by the way. On either end of the phone, what could be more irrational? Maybe opera. You know how people get passionate about opera?
Yeah. No, I don't.
But I mean, I don't know. I hope if the Cleveland team wins, if the Cavaliers get it done, if LeBron completes the mission, I hope the city, in the aftermath of such a parallel universe event where there's joy and celebration, I hope people, don't burn the place down.
Let me ask you this. LeBron loses tomorrow night. Here's the trade. LeBron loses tomorrow night and then leaves to go to the Lakers and says, fuck you, I'm never coming back. And the Cavaliers never win another game. Or the Browns win the next two Super Bowls. What do you take?
I think almost everyone in Cleveland, who, if they express a preference, would rather go with the Browns' 2 Super Bowls. To be honest with you, that's a football town. I don't feel that way, by the way. I've fallen in love with the NBA and the NFL. Let Art Modell just steal the Cleveland Browns back in '95. So right. I'm holding that grudge. But yeah, I think if the deal was, the Cavs don't win, LeBron goes, the Cavs are never close again, but we get 2 Super Bowls for the Browns. Hell yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think a football town it is. I think I think they forget LeBron James existed for 2 bowls. But well, let me ask you this. You were very sympathetic. The reason Believeland is really good, and Scott's a producer of it. Check it out on ESPN Films 30 for 30. I really recommend it on demand, however you can. Check it out. It was awesome. You show both sides of the Modell situation. Do you personally have any sympathy for Modell about you guys? There's information in the Believeland that I never heard before about how, he really gave back to that town. He spent a lot of money trying to help Cleveland out as a city and felt betrayed, and that's why he left. Is that true?
I think right up to the last part, that's all true. I mean, one of the things that you have to keep in mind, the perspective that, forgetting the emotional part of it, is that Art Modell had to move an NFL franchise because he didn't have any money left, and another city, Baltimore, gave him a deal that included the stadium. I mean, they gave him the sweetest deal any NFL owner up to that point had, and he went bankrupt with that team too.
Right.
So, I mean, when you've gone under with 2 different NFL franchises, you're not a good businessman.
Yeah, well, it sounded like he had a heart, though. It sounded like there was a reason. It sounded like he had a heart. He spent a lot of money, like the hotel he refurbished and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean, he did. He bought the old stadium, that's since been torn down, and he was the landlord for the Indians, and he was stretched thin. And when he saw that they were building a new baseball stadium, and when they saw, they built a new arena downtown for the Cavs right next to the baseball stadium, Art said, "Where's mine? Where is mine?"
Right.
And the city didn't know that it was playing chicken with a guy who already had one foot out the door. Everyone believed. That's not to excuse the politicians, the shitbag politicians. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I don't think Art ever faced them down across the table and said, "If we can't get this done by whatever date, I'm taking the team." That deal was made, in a way that, for me at least, will always make him a weasel at best.
Okay, spoken like a true, honest guy. Now listen, here's another Cleveland question. Here's another trade. By this time next year, all the business comes back to Cleveland that left. The factory's open. There's prosperity again. There's economy. It's a great place to live, and downtown is bustling. And there's a real suburb area where people can have that American dream. And you got that 50s prosperity again that you enjoyed for a little while. But no sports team ever wins again. You take that?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. I would.
Right.
I because that prosperity lasted a long time. I mean, when I was born in 1952, I think it was the 6th or 7th largest city in the country, and all those jobs. And it's not, but if you're talking about Cleveland getting back the 2/3 of its population and the young families and a decent school system and good housing, I got to say, as much as I love sports, I have the luxury of treating a Game 7 like it's a life-changing event. But there are people in the city, they're struggling every day to feed their kids. They're losing the struggle. And not to sound like a total leading Art, but it's a tough town. A tough town.
It's a tough. Listen, I've done stand-up in Cleveland a million times. I've been to Cleveland.
Sir.
I've been to Cleveland a lot, and downtown does feel like there used to be something here. You know what I mean? And there's ghosts. And the last time I was there was on a dark fall day, and people were walking to a Browns. I believe it was a Browns Houston game. The Houston, I said it was a meaningless game. And I remember saying to the crowd the night before in the theater, I said, "Who's going to that game tomorrow?" And so many people were so psyched just to go to a Browns game. They were going to the game.
Yep.
And it was meaningless. And as a Giant fan, we're so spoiled. Giant fans don't even use their season tickets when it's meaningless. But these guys were going. A late November meaningless Browns game because they love it. And that is why the people of Cleveland deserve a championship, because they're there. These people don't go. They're in. The ones that stay are in Cleveland, and they're happy to go to a fucking Browns game. I don't care if it means the title. We're just going because it's a game. How about this? Here's the last trade question. You never win another sports title. The economy never comes back. It stays a very, very dark place to live. No more sports titles. But Arsenio Hall agrees to tell everyone he's from Detroit.
That's a close call, Artie. I don't know.
The worst part of
I don't know. I'm stumped.
The worst part of the show, no, the greatest part, because it shows what an asshole he is. He has the gall after years of saying, "I'm a LA Lakers, I love Magic, I'm a LA Clippers guy." Remember the Clippers were hot for 2 seconds, and guess who jumps on the bandwagon? Mr. Wonderful. I'm a Clippers fan. I'm a Clippers fan. For him to get on this thing and all over it going, "I love," when we go to Cleveland, you haven't been to a fucking game in years that didn't have a camera on it that you could exploit. He claims he's a Cleveland sports fan. He's been an LA sports fan for the last 20 years.
I think what happened was Drew Carey was busy killing baby seals or something. I don't know.
Drew Carey, yeah, Drew. I remember that first All-Star game from Jacobs Field. I was in L.A. doing Mad TV. Drew's face was right next to that catcher the entire game. He was in the back. He was in the shot of the pitch every for the whole game. He went back and enjoyed.
There you go.
Went back and enjoyed himself. Well, okay. Well, those are close calls. But again, when I go to Cleveland, I play the State Theater, 3,000 people once. And I play Saturday nights. And for some reason, I go a lot when it's late in the the football season, and everybody's going to the game the next day. And the Browns at one point, I think, were 2-11. Everyone's going to the game.
Yes.
So you deserve it. So let's talk about Sunday, tomorrow night. I am look, I'm Italian. I'm from North Jersey. I'm not one of these show business guys, one of these fruits who went to Northwestern. You know, I know
that.
Or a Yale drama guy.
You're a Livingston guy. I live in Glen Ridge.
Well, no, I'm not a Livingston guy. I was born there. I was born in the hospital there. I'm a Newark guy. Livingston is.
So you were born at St. Barnabas, but you grew up in Newark. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was living in Newark at the time. I grew up in Union. I'm more blue collar than Livingston. Livingston's where Chelsea Handler's from Livingston. Okay, that asshole. So I know some people is my point. If on the down low, I tell you for a price, I can have Steph Curry's arm broken tonight.
Oh God!
you name the price. Name the price. Name the price.
I think you got a shot here because let me tell you something. Say what you want. LeBron came back. He's got you in the finals again these 2 years. He didn't have the guns. He single-handedly kept you in it last year. Single-handedly took it to 6 games. And he runs into this phenomenon that is Steph Curry. The fucking guy, I mean, you're a sports guy, Scott. Have you ever seen a more pure shooter? The guy doesn't even look at the fucking basket. 5 feet beyond the three-point line. How do you defend that? You can't. If he's going to start hitting shots like that, you can't. But now, big injury. This guy, what's his name? Stugotz? What's his name? The guy who got injured on the Bogut. Guy who was a big body on LeBron late, at least. He's gone. That helps even out the home field advantage, home court advantage tomorrow. And the fact that it came out that Steph Curry obviously abuses his family.
Oh, God.
And got drunk or whatever. No, I'm kidding. There was a big article about how he was a sore loser. Well, that's called competition. But I don't know. I think you got a good shot tomorrow. But what do you think? Certainly better than last year. But give me your thoughts on that and your thoughts on Kevin Love, your thoughts on Irving. Are you a guy who thinks, a lot of people thought Love was his Scottie Pippen. I don't think that's the case. What are your thoughts there, and what are your thoughts on tomorrow?
Well, having watched the series, I've been commuting to Cleveland for the home game. So it's been a thrill ride. And what I think I've seen is a Warriors team that really is. And part of it is injuries, but part of it is they're facing a LeBron James that they really didn't see last year because at least he's got a little bit of help.
Right.
And I think all the pressure, all the pressure is on Golden State tomorrow. All of it.
Yeah.
They got the 73 wins. They're at home. And under pressure so far in this series, I think they've looked like shit. I don't think they've looked like a dynastic team. That doesn't mean I think the Cavs are going to win, but I do think it helps me believe they could get it done because LeBron is still the best player on the floor whenever he's on the floor.
Right.
And the fact that when I thought going into the finals that for them to even survive, for them to even win a game or two, both Kyrie and Kevin Love had to show up every game. They didn't have to be great, but they had to show up. And unfortunately, only one of them, Kyrie, has really shown up.
Yeah.
So Kevin Love, to me, and I like looking at the analytics guys. I like the guys who crunch the numbers, and there are guys who still argue if you look at the offensive rating, they're a better team with this lineup and Love on the floor. Love on the floor in these finals has been a bleeding chest wound. Not a wartime consigliere.
Yeah. Listen. I advised the Cavaliers on this. No, I got to tell you, you're right. And to be Scottie Pippen, to be like, that's the analogy I use because, again, a lot of these greats don't win without the other great. Magic never won without Kareem. Kareem never won without either Magic or Oscar Robertson.
Right.
When Magic was people go, Kareem won without Magic, but a guy named Oscar Robertson was on the team. And of course, Jordan. was an amazing guy individually. That shot against your Cavaliers when he won in the last second with that big shot, and he was 63 points against Larry Bird and the Celtics, but the Celtics win.
Oh my God!
He didn't have the other guy. Larry Bird said he's God in basketball shoes, which again is kind of not a brilliant statement, but he got credit for it. He's a hick. By the way, Scott, what do you think about this? I'm writing a book about players that I've lost a lot of money on gambling, individual people, how much I hate them. And I'm insulting them in each page. And I don't know if you saw recently, as a basketball fan, a profile of Larry Bird. Larry Bird's nose and chin are about to touch. And I feel when Larry Bird's nose touches his chin, Boston should have a holiday. Your thoughts on that? His nose, literally, I'm telling you, Scott,
I don't think he's aging. He's not aging well.
No, his not aging well. That was always the '86 Celtics were always my ugliest championship team ever. Me and my buddies used to talk about it. You got Bill Walton, who looks like he looks like Rodin, and then you realize he's not Rodin. He's Rodin's assistant, because Rodin is Kevin McHale when you see him. Hang on a second.
Robert Parrish.
Yeah. Ma, I'm on the air. You all right?
Yeah, I'm there.
No, I'm talking to my mother.
Oh, sorry.
All right, I'm sorry. She checks in on me if I don't talk to her into it. It's my life as an addict. If she doesn't hear from me for 2 hours, she calls the morgue. So I had to pick up the phone. I apologize.
I totally love that. I love that. I need that too. I need that. I need someone looking out for me.
Well, can I give her your number? Because quite frankly, it's annoying.
No.
No, but anyway. So Larry Bird though was always an odd-looking guy, and his nose and chin. I saw this recently. It's startling. If you see a profile, they are about to touch, like that witch on the Bugs Bunny cartoons. It's and I feel that's a holiday when they touch. The Larry Bird nose and chin touching holiday. So I think that LeBron, if he doesn't run into this phenomenon that is Steph Curry, could be going on his second ring even without these guys who's his next Hall of Famer. So Jordan almost handpicks Scottie Pippen, says get that guy, much like he did with Kukoc later, but he got Pippen, and guess what? Pippen always delivered. He did. To be the Pippen, to be the guy, you got to deliver. I think you get rid of Love first chance you get. What do you think? If you don't win tomorrow, for sure.
I think they will. I mean, I'm working on another book, so I'm in touch with people who cover the team, and I do think that the Cavaliers are going to decide this offseason if they can find a way to jettison that contract. They'll get rid of him. I think everyone from LeBron, to the front office is disappointed that 2 full seasons in, this guy is still disappearing in crunch time. Well,
you're right. I have another title for a book about A-Rod. If you could write this about A-Rod, called The Pimp of Coral Gables.
Oh, God.
We'll get a deal and get working on that. I am writing my 3rd book, actually, so we have something in common.
Well, it's not easy. My hat's off to you, Artie Lange.
Well, you're a real writer. So.
You're a kind man.
What are the odds that you would give the Cavs tomorrow? Like going into that game, do you think you're delusional or thinking it's almost even money?
I think Las Vegas says it's still a 5 or 6 point. Oh
yeah, but I know fuck Vegas. I'm talking you as a Cleveland fan. In your gut, what do you think?
What do I think? You're asking a Cleveland fan who has been. Over the years, I've been prepared in every possible way for my team to lose tomorrow night. So it's hard for me. It's hard for me to summon that soul deep conviction that I think my guys are going to win, that they're finally going to get it done. I could say this much, and this is it. I mean, this is it for me. What I said earlier. In the NBA, when you have the best player on the floor, and I think LeBron James certainly. Only LeBron, I think, is in the conversation with Michael. And now I'm not talking about count the rings. I'm talking about how they can dominate a basketball game in 4 or 5 different ways. So yeah, my heart would explode before I could get the words out. Honest to God, Artie. But yeah, I think my guys look good tomorrow night. Yeah.
I agree with you. I think there's a real shot here for them. I put it this way: as a sports fan. I'm psyched, man. I'm psyched. It's not my team in it. My team's the Knicks. Talk about disappointing, but I think they got a real shot. I heard him get cut off. Oh, Hey, what's up? What's up, Scott? We got through 40 minutes. What happened?
It's me, Scott.
We got through.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on here.
We got through 40 minutes. That's okay.
Okay.
But my point was, I wanted to make sure that you were more confident than maybe last year, because I really do think the Cavs got to have a good shot. And,
I am. They won Game 5 on the road. Kyrie had 41. I think Kyrie really. I'm not comparing Kyrie to Scottie Pippen. I mean, you look back at Pippen's career. Yeah. You know, very few people in his class, Inner Circle Hall of Famer. But young Kyrie Irving has had, I think, 3 different 30-point games. I think, and this is me talking, not blowing smoke. I think they go out there, LeBron on a mission. Kyrie can maintain the outside shooting. They can keep the lanes open for LeBron. Yeah, I think they have every chance to beat those Golden Boy motherfuckers. Yes,
I do. Now, does LeBron's mom go to the game or watch it at home at Delonte?
Wait, was that a question?
What do you think? Delonte West recently went crazy. I think he was seen making out with an ATM machine in Oakland. People think he's gone off the deep end, but he recently went on a Twitter rampage and reassured people that yes, he did in fact have sexual intercourse with LeBron James' mother, which to me would be the greatest single thing someone's ever done.
I saw that. Yeah, not to sound like some humane guy, because I sometimes pretend to be, but I worry about Delonte West. I'm not saying anything about the truth or falsehood of his claim. I'm just saying, the guy, I don't know how he's keeping his body and soul together. I mean, literally. I don't know what he's doing to make my ends meet.
Obviously, I listen. He's not a stable guy, and I think he's the kind of guy that'll go into porn. He's the kind of guy where you'll see him and Tanya Harding have a tape out. Can
you tell me something? Maybe you can help me in this area, because I don't understand. I don't understand how there's still a porn industry. When I need porn, if I'm on the road, I get on my iPhone, and 2 minutes later I'm done. I didn't pay anyone anything.
I agree with you. I know the porn industry. Forget about Metallica and their billionaire woes with music. I think porn stars, Lexington Steele, Evan Everhard. All these wonderful guys. They're out of work. They're out of work, and I think that's a good point. Quite frankly, you want porn, in Cleveland, I think you just get a hooker, call Delonte West, and say, could you come over and fuck this chick in front of me? I mean, you could have it live. I think he's going to need it. What about this? I think this was in poor taste. You know how the logo for the NBA is Jerry West?
Yeah, the logo,
I think they wanted to change that logo because of, some people were crying out racially. To Delonte West, a shadow of him making love to Miss LeBron James.
Oh God,
that's hilarious.
A silhouette.
And very, very sad. It's both.
I don't know if that rumor is in fact true. LeBron James is the greatest mental player of all time. I would not be able to psychologically get back on this bandwagon and play with a teammate. Knowing my teammate, your wife is one thing. You do want to hang out with Delonte West. What a party animal! He's had. You say to one of the other guys on the team, he had sex with a teammate's one of our teammates' mother. Oh my God, that's terrible. Who was it? One of the guys on the bench? No, not one of the guys on the bench. The guy. That's a guy with balls. So we'll move on. Now listen. What about politics? What about guys like Trump? He shows that Carrier, air conditioning, laying off all those people on video because they're going to go to Mexico or wherever. Politically, where do you stand with all these people? All the jobs, make America great again. Is there anything to that bullshit? Does Cleveland have a shot at getting on the upswing economy-wise ever again?
I think not, but that's me. I mean, they tried to do it with the medical. The medical community there is healthy. There's Cleveland clinics. There's University Hospital. It is a city that I think can have a relatively happy existence as a smaller American city if certain things happen, none of which involve Donald Trump becoming anything but a footnote to history.
Right.
I just want to, the fact that the convention, and I won't be inside the arena, but I will be in Cleveland during the fact that Cleveland finally gets.
Are you kidding me? There.
When is the convention in Cleveland?
Less than a month. I think it's
this month.
Yeah.
It's me.
Scott, this is really the greatest interview ever.
Well, I'm sorry that technology has let us down.
Don't worry about it. Technology let me down too. My scale works. I was going to get to this. My point is this. I want to get your stance on Trump if you believe any of that bullshit, because Cleveland would be a city that might buy into it. Do you feel a lot of hardcore blue-collar Clevelanders are Trump people?
I don't have that sense, but I'm not. I mean, really, I'm the last guy. It's bad enough that I'm a spokesperson for every Cleveland sports fan. I don't have my finger on the pulse. Cleveland is a pro-union, strongly Democratic town, and a place where in Cuyahoga County, Cleveland's county, Hillary Clinton or anyone else running as a Democrat is going to kick Donald Trump's ass.
Right.
Donald Trump's ass. What scares me, what really does scare me, is and I'm not an intellectual, and I think that we've made that absolutely clear. But I am a student of history. As a Jew from Cleveland, I'm familiar with the between World War history of Germany. And I think people, and they may be well-meaning people, but I think people who actually think, given everything that Donald Trump has said, and not just the stuff about Mexicans, and not just the stuff about Muslims, and not just the stuff about the Washington Post can't cover me, and you add all this up, and anyone who thinks that Donald Trump would make a good president of the United States is either a corroded cynic or a moron. And I don't think there are any exceptions to that. If you're going to vote for Donald Trump, and I have members of on my mother's side, pro-Israel, Obama-hating, Jews who are going to vote for Donald Trump, they're dead to me. Dead to me.
Well, I hate to tell you, you're doing an interview with a dead guy.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I don't trust Hillary either. I don't trust either one of them. I think they're all filthy liars. I think it's odd that Hillary wants a job.
They are.
I think it's odd that Hillary wants a job where every day she's going to go to an office where her husband got blown by a fat chick.
Hey, I don't blame anyone who decides they cannot vote for Hillary Clinton. And if they go ahead and they want to write in Mitt Romney, Rick Santorum, anyone they want. But I'm telling you, and I'm hardly a prophet, and I'm not an academic or a historian. But this guy and the responses he evokes from people are terrifying.
Well, let me ask you this: Are you worried? Are you worried that the Republicans try to replace Trump in some way at the last minute with some sort of crazy surprise in Cleveland? And are you worried about the riot that will ensue? Because it will be a riot. Are you worried about tearing Cleveland down? It's a possibility.
I think there's going to be riots if they don't, and riots if they do. In other words, I think Trump. It's funny because we can talk and we can disagree, but basically, I think for people especially, and I got to say, I know what a bleeding heart. Forget liberal, left-wing radical I might sound like, but people in this country who grew up, with wrong skin color, grew up in poverty. I think people look at Trump, and I think there's going to be riots in Cleveland if he is the nominee. And you're certainly right. If they try and take it away from him, there will be riots then too. But I think it's lose-lose for Cleveland as always.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. When is the convention?
I think July 18th.
July 18th.
A month from now.
Yeah. Again, I don't. God, that is. The riots that go on when he goes to just San Diego are crazy. I think again you're right. Could you imagine you lose a Game 7 and he comes in and the thing that takes Cleveland down officially, burns it down, is the fucking Republican convention. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Where do you live now, Scott?
I live in North Jersey. I mean, that's the funny thing about all this.
How come you're not here live? How come he's not here live?
He's going to Cleveland
right now.
Well, because
why? The game's in San Diego.
But I got a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow to Cleveland, so I can watch it at a watch party And ESPN Films, if the Cavaliers win, we're going to put an epilogue on Believeland on that 30 for 30.
Oh,
if they win.
Okay.
If they win.
Right.
If they win.
If they win. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, shit. We should, God damn, I wish we would have done this interview earlier, because you're going to come in. I'm in North Jersey right now, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I should have been clear with Dan, but also I've been on the road back and forth for days. I'll be 64 this summer. I'm old.
You're old. I'm 48. I look like your uncle. I've led a terrible life. Look, our friend Nick DiPaolo's on television. He's on the Fox News right now. Let me ask you this: your son seemed like a good kid. He's on the documentary.
Thank you.
If they win tomorrow, if Cleveland wins tomorrow, does your son? Well, there's no way. I mean, I don't know. Does your son can never know the pain know as a sports fan, right?
No, I don't want him. I don't want him to. I told him as long as it wasn't the Yankees, he could pick whatever team he wanted.
Right.
Baseball. but I got a tattoo of Chief Wahoo, the Cleveland Indians racist caricature on my arm, and
yeah.
I got that tattoo with Dennis Rodman, by the way, in 1994. I'm just saying.
The Indian logo. People talk about the Braves. The Indian logo with the Indian with the big teeth smiling on the hat is the single most racist thing. Okay, is there anything you could imagine worse than you watching a video of your son voting for Trump in a Yankee hat? Your son wearing a Yankee hat while voting for Donald Trump. Is there something worse?
Well, you could always, when you're a parent, you can always imagine horrible scenarios. But the Yankees hat one is pretty dire. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah.
Well, they suck now too. Again, baseball's another sport. I can't relate to it anymore. I don't know. Nobody speaks English. They're billionaires. They got private jets. The Yankees and Indians in '78. They were different. They were different teams. These guys, they seem like one of you. They seem like they had a job at UPS in the off season, and now I don't know. You can't relate to them, and
it's a different culture. We're getting old. That's all. We're getting old.
We are. Now, is there a white chick in Cleveland in the '60s that Jim Brown didn't bang?
Oh, God.
That's a tough question. I would have to do more reporting to be able to answer that with confidence.
I get the idea that he just plowed through white pussy in the '60s. Just plowed through it in Cleveland.
One of the things about, and I've always thought this, but only more so as I've gotten older. If I'm a young athlete of any color, by the way, or someone who hits it big in the movies, someone who hits it big, stand up, the people start throwing stuff at you, right? They start throwing drugs, bodies,
absolutely,
all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So how do you? I don't know how you live your life, Artie. I really don't. How do you do it?
Well, I've been trying to end my life for years. It doesn't work. Nothing works.
I know.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one question to let you leave. I know you got to go. You got a big day tomorrow, and I wish you luck. And I'm with you.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for Cleveland tomorrow.
I'm with you.
Yeah, Dan. Nobody cares who you're with, Dan. I do. I'm rooting for you. And I think if they win tomorrow, this will get LeBron James's father out from wherever he is to come and look for money. This official will do. Last question. You're in an elevator.
Yeah.
With Johnny Manziel and Art Modell. You have a gun with one bullet in it. The elevator's stuck for forever. What do you do?
Oh, I kill Modell.
You kill Modell? Wow.
I kill the old guy who never even tried. Nobody ever paid a penny to watch Art Modell run out on the field and fuck up.
Okay. Okay, but seriously, think about that decision. Do you really want for eternity to hear stories about frat parties at Texas A&M with Johnny Manziel?
Well, with Modell, it's more personal. That's all I'm saying.
The correct answer is you shoot yourself.
See, that's always my default instinct, but I fight that. I try and think secure thoughts.
Well, Manziel and Modell, but those two M's in an elevator, that's the only thing to do is to shoot yourself. Listen, Scott Raab, next time you got to come in live. This way we can do the interview in longer than 3-minute intervals. And
I would love to. I would come in a nanosecond.
You know what makes this funnier? The cutoff thing, that this entire time he's been about 80 feet from us.
That's right.
You have a good time in Cleveland tomorrow, and I'll be rooting for you, Scott. I thank you for thank you for trying to call in. And
my pleasure.
I love you. Keep the weight off, man, and stay on this earth longer because we need your written word, brother.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go Cavs. Go Cavs.
Go Cavs. We'll be with you tomorrow, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Scott. Bye, Scott. The great Scott Raab. Interesting interview. Scott's great, and he, again, we kept getting cut off, but I think the Cavs have a shot tomorrow, and Cleveland will go crazy. And then there's that whole political thing. With the convention being there, my God, I play Cleveland a lot because Cleveland, again, the people of Cleveland, I'm serious, I love those people. They're my kind of people, and the people that stay are great. And they come to see me. It's a town I can still do a theater in, and they need it. They need this, quite frankly, they do. And I'll take a diabetic piss, and we'll be back.
Call Artie and see if he wants to go play hoops.
Ready.
We're back on Artie Quitter, back after the big Scott Raab interview. So you left in all the scars at the beginning of that interview with it. You left in the African American gentleman and all that stuff. Yeah, that was odd. When you hear this back, Dan and I, what you're hearing is insane, awkward radio, because that was real. Dan and I thought that was a guy who Scott. Remember, Scott had told us that he was at a friend's house, and Scott is a liberal. And
it's Cleveland.
We absolutely thought, at least I did, and Dan claims he did, and I believe him. That was his friend, and we were trying to go back and forth. And then I said, "Do you know Scott Raab?" And the guy said, "Yes." Listen, what you heard was real. That was very odd. And what are the chances that black guy subscribes and he sues us? I doubt that's the case. But anyway, Scott, again, the politics of Donald Trump, really, really divisive. Scott, I love Scott. He's a good guy. But I think after first of all, I'm not political. I'm a comedian before I am anything, which is the point of what I'm about to say after this, connected to OJ. I'm watching the OJ special. I want to connect this all together, wrap it up as great broadcasters do for the end of this. But sometimes you're a comedian first, or a writer first, or whatever first. And I'm certainly a comic before I'm political. So, I think if you really laid out, put all my thoughts through a computer, it would come out to where I'm probably more to the right politically. But I don't know. Again, I voted for Obama. I voted for Bush. Makes no sense. But I think that's how you should treat stuff. Independence is the only logical way to think. If you think, stuff's not always that way. Stuff's not always this way. But Scott, Cleveland is a big union town, which technically makes you left wing. Although I went to, I was a longshoreman, and the ILA is a big endorsement. That's the longshoreman union. Big endorsement for politicians to get. It's almost always historically Democrats. They almost always endorse the Democrats. And because, right-wing people are not supposed to be anti-union. But again, that's where Trump is a gray area. He's certainly a businessman who's not a pro-union guy. But there's weird shit going on with the carrier plant closing, blah, 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 to where some people might change their way of thinking briefly, if at all. And I'm a comic first. So technically, I like a lot of what Trump is saying, but I'll goof on his kids. Some people heard the podcast when we were goofing on Eric Trump and the Amazing. He's an amazing man. I'm an amazing person. He's amazing. I'm amazing. And we were really goofing hard on Eric Trump. And they said, wait, you don't like Donald? You're one of these showbiz guys? No, I don't care either way. That's hilarious. If Eric Trump says amazing 4,000 times in a 2-syllable sentence, we're gonna goof on it.
Well, listen, she's an amazing person. She's incredibly solid, and right now she's really focusing on being a mom. I mean, she's really an amazing mother to Barron, and I give her all the credit in the world. And this is kind of an amazing process, especially at that point in the young kid's life. And, his father's running for commander-in-chief. Our father is, we're a little bit older and we understand the world more. And it's really amazing that she's doing such a good job kind of mentoring him and, taking such great care of him. And believe me, she's by my father's side, all the time at the debates and this and that. But she's a really amazing person. She's a wonderful person. And she would make a great first lady. She really is solid as a rock.
His head was about to explode. He needed medical assistance. The anxiety. He's talking about Melania, that statue, that mannequin that his father married, and the kid they had, Barron. Trump said to Howard when he was on the show, years ago, and when Melania was pregnant. And Howard said, you're going to have a kid? You're not anti that, the whole kid thing, that you do that already? He goes, no, you got to give these young girls a kid. Howard, you got to give them a kid. Like, really very, like, Trump, like, always in control. just you're not going to argue with him on anything. And that could be annoying, could be entertaining. But I'll goof on his kids doing something stupid, even if I'm for him as a politician. And people might think, it sounds like you're against him. No, I'm for comedy. I'll goof on it. I'll also goof on Hillary. And there's a lot of things to goof on with both of them. Believe me. So I don't know, but with the Trump thing, it's so divisive. Scott said he would disown children. He would never talk to relatives again if he found out they were voting for Trump. And he's a Cleveland Democrat, liberal guy through and through. And he said there's no gray area. It's never different. And Scott Raab, he's probably got an IQ north of 140, this guy, an amazing writer. But, it's always black and white with him, which is odd. It's just not. That's just not the case politically. And I think once I alluded to, even jokingly, and I was kind of joking that I was going to vote for Trump, because he said somebody would be brain dead or something. I said, well, you're being interviewed by a brain dead guy or whatever. And he heard that I, in fact, was thinking about voting for Trump. And I said that, he heard that from me 2 seconds before he got upset, I think. And that was technically me goofing around. And I don't know if he was upset, but he texted Dan that he had to leave right after the Trump thing. And my goofing around, I don't know if he was that into it anymore. Scott, I'd love to. You're welcome back on any time, brother. And I hope that wasn't the case. I don't know if it was, but I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. I'm not voting for Trump. I'm not voting for Hillary. I'm not voting for anybody. I don't think in this election. I can't. Technically, I might legally not be able to, so I have to check that anyway, which would make the decision a lot easier. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll probably vote. I don't know. The point is, I was goofing around. Is the point? I'm not a political guy. But I'll go where the joke goes. But Scott Raab, check out Believeland on 30 for 30. And that's spelled, it's all one word, Believe Land, like Cleveland. And he produced it, and it's just great.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Was it amazing?
Yeah, it was amazing.
And he's talking, the person that he's talking about with that amazing thing is Melania. Yeah, she's solid. I solid as rock. I solid like Chris Rock. Can I leave? Chris Rock upstairs. I go in the hot tub. Can I do that while you're caucusing?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Tell Eric that I got this letter that I'm amazing. By the way, talk about an amazing commercial. I just saw, again, I watch a lot of the news because I'm trying to write material. And the Fox News, quite frankly, again, I don't lean, but I technically write whatever, but the Fox News, it is so funny. There's a lot of material. I agree with a lot of what they say, by the way. And in a time of liberal madness, when they're making something in a bubble, ironically enough, Bill Maher thinks the bubble is right-wing. The bubble's both ways. People live in the bubble in both areas. There's a liberal bubble, too. You're in the bubble. Oh, I guess you're in the right-wing bubble. The Republican bubble. There's a liberal bubble, too. It's just fun to watch Fox because it is hilarious. These smoking hot chicks, the word rhetoric. Again, I've said this before. Everyone says the word rhetoric. I don't think they think 90% of the people using the word rhetoric on Fox News or on CNN don't know what the word means. I don't know what the word means either. I know a rhetorical question means that you ask a question not expecting an answer. The answer is so obvious you don't expect an answer to the question. You say the question out loud to make a point. The question is so obvious answer-wise that you say it not expecting an answer. That's a rhetorical question. So rhetoric, I'm sure, comes from that. So I guess when someone's speaking, the context they use it in is, Trump's rhetoric means he might be a fascist, blah, blah, blah. I guess the word rhetoric refers to his talk, what he's saying. And maybe it's he's saying stuff that's so out there, it could be rhetorical, but it isn't. And that's what rhetoric is. Am I on the right track there, Danny? You're smarter than I am.
Yeah, I mean, rhetoric to me has two meanings. It has...
Let's stop.
It means...
You know what it means?
Talking a lot and not being very sincere about it.
Okay, right. Now, then they're using it wrong. If that's the case, and I think you're right, by the way.
But it also means talking a lot. So there's two...
Talking, okay, so it could refer to just the sheer amount of talking?
Yes, yeah.
Not what you mean.
Right. But
that's two very different meanings.
I can look it up if you want. But I think that's
why would we do that? Yeah, look it up. I'm curious because it's used so much on these pundits, these surrogates, whatever the fuck you want to call them, political analysts. I don't fucking know.
The art of effective or persuasive speaking or writing, especially the use of figures of speech and other techniques. The second one is...
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
So let's break this down one by one. All right, so that basically just means a skilled speaker, a guy who's good at talking and convincing you. Go ahead.
Right.
The use of examples.
Right.
Right. Go ahead.
And the second definition is language designed to have persuasive or impressive effect on its audience, but often regarded as lacking sincerity.
Okay, that's the context they're using it in. Most of the time, because they refer to Trump with the rhetoric. But again, so they're saying he's not sincere. See, that's where I think they're not judging Donald Trump correctly. I think he means what he says. Hey, there's that helicopter.
Yeah, that's the big black one.
Again, you're talking about the guy from earlier on the phone?
That is a huge helicopter.
That is a huge black one. Man. What the fuck's going on? What the fuck is going on? I'm supposed to go to the Comedy Cellar tonight and do stand-up. A glimpse into the world of the stand-up comic. I've become very nocturnal lately because of some of the hours I'm keeping shooting my big HBO show. That's right, I said it. I've got 2 episodes in. 2 episodes gone. That's 40 G's only.
How do you practice for a big kiss with the lovely Gina Gershon?
I wake up. Ain't no practicing for me, man. That was fun. She was so sweet, Gershon. Again, the fact that it's a story that I can't... It's one of my stories they're using.
That's amazing.
It's one of my fucking stories. Gina Gershon got a job on an HBO Judd Apatow show because of my story. Something happened to me. Like, in other words, I am the only one who knows the chick Gina Gershon's playing because the story happened to me. I remember this broad who tried to give me coke and... This dickwick who I was with, who I gave him the power to keep drugs away from me. 2 other times that weekend, by the way, guys who looked like Captain Lou Albano tried to give me drugs. He didn't get me. He missed that one. The hot chick who has the coke, he sees her and hits her with a block like Anthony Munoz on the '88 Cincinnati Bengals. Left guard, by the way, what a reference. Hall of Fame offensive lineman Anthony Munoz. Yeah, he gets involved. And I could have fucked her. And done coke. And I said to the guy, but basically I said, listen, I made up my mind. I'm doing the coke. You're exonerated by. And that's the gist of the story. And Pete Holmes, when you see him, he plays that kid. And it's so fucking funny. He's perfect for it. Perfect for it. But I remember what the chick looked like. And she was hot. She was not Gina Gershon. The chick who really tried to give me the coke in the real story that the show's based on was a very hot chick for a gig at Albany. and me being the celebrity. She was not Gina Gershon. So, in other words, I won't tell you how. I won't tell you Okay? I will not tell you how the episode ends, of course. I won't tell you where we went with the story. The end of the story, as compared to the real story, the one we filmed for HBO, which I'm involved in. Judd Apatow, thank you. We made some changes. We took some creative license, if you will. I will say this. I wanted to fuck the real chick who had the coke. Me turning down Gina Gershon with cocaine, they would have to label it science fiction. And a lot of people on Twitter have pointed that out. God, and when she got so into the part, like she's playing this chick that I knew, and she's so much hotter. But I'm like, wow, I'm so glad that was a motorcycle. That was the Luftwaffe. You will come on your motorcycle. We have your helicopter. Rex Marshal Ginning has zoomed up your Apache helicopter. Rex Marshal Ginning is second only to the Führer. I will remind you the Führer's rhetoric. Rhetoric is second only to the Führer. Yeah, and Gina's getting into it because she's trying to hit on me. She wants to get out of Albany, and I'm a famous comic, and she's like, she's hugging me, she's cuddling with me, she's looking at me. Our foreheads were touching. She kissed my neck at one point. I'll fucking repeat that. She kissed my neck. Not gonna lie to you, I should have wore a cup. Not gonna lie to you. Hugging me, putting her. She shoved her ass in my stomach. Her ass was on top of my stomach, like my stomach was a shelf. She took a shelfie. My stomach, by the way, is like a shelf. It's getting ridiculous. But she was going, she goes, oh, you're all cuddly and soft. She was trying to be nice, and she was doing it in a sexy voice, but everything she said was negative. She was like, she was being honest. Oh, you're all roly-poly and not muscular. And oh, God, you're not. You have no muscle tone. And oh, it's great and soft. You're so soft, and you got big hips. And wow, I love it. Your stretch marks are cute. And, oh, your hairy back is nice to cuddle in, and your fat chin is like a pillow, and like you got a little shelf, and you can't see your cock, and it's great to fucking. You got a flat ass, and oh, you got an abnormally large head, and like your hair is balding and gray, and oh, you're so cute. Your neck fat is fun, and the ear coming out of hair coming out of your ear is cute. Let me just lick. I want to give you. Oh, I love your roly-poly tits, and like you're so soft, and your chest is barely big, and you got like grainy voice, sound like you're gonna die, like you smoked cigarettes and drank scotch and had bad Coke dissolved in the scotch every morning like cereal, and you drank that for a few months on the road, huh? She flirted like she knew my life story. Oh, it's like you failed gym in high school, and you failed other classes, and you had to go to summer school, and oh my God, you didn't have a college credit to your name, and you were loading trucks, and you were a convicted felon. Oh God, you got a job on a show, and then after 2 years, you got arrested for possession of cocaine, and it's like, oh, you're so roly-poly and disgusting and fat and not that good-looking, and oh, you're not that particularly bright, you're so lucky, and you're like a lucky lottery winner. Oh my God, it's, oh man, you're so roly-poly and stupid, and I don't know, man. Oh God, it's clear that you're just lucky, and it's, oh, you're kind of fat, and you're not interesting like my other friends who I grew up with, and oh God, you don't have a boat, and oh my God, your teeth aren't really that good a shape. Your teeth look weird with the cocaine residue dripping from your nose into your gums, and when the coke residue drips from your nose into your gums, it loosens your teeth, and it looks like you're kind of getting brown teeth. Oh God, you're so disgusting, and you got a couple of chins. Oh man, this job, if this doesn't work out, you might have to leave show business. And how are you going to support Dan? You might have to go back to like loading trucks. Oh yeah, you seem so racist.
You mentioned me. That's nice.
Again, why would you interrupt? Again, people interrupt. I'm on a roll here. Like, why does Dan feel it's the jealousy, it's the bitterness.
It's Bosco disease.
No, it's not Bosco disease. You've had this long before Bosco. Again, here's what happens. Here's my burden. Again, people say in life, what's your burden? What's your cross to bear? Mine is people around me being jealous. Dan sees, like, he goes, like, well, I wish I was funny on the radio too. I think I can improve this bit. I can improve it. A character already makes up on the spot. She mentioned me. What? No. And then I have to answer, but then I realize he's joking, and then we have to explain the joke to the crowd. People listening on a podcast at home, people say listen on a tough commute back home. And maybe that's putting a smile on their face, that bit. Maybe it's putting a smile, you know, and life isn't so bad. Yeti! What was that? That was a screeching, fucking disgusting, unfunny eagle that came across the fucking air. That was Dan helping the bit. Dan the bit helper. Mary the bit helper's not here. Dan the bit helper to go. I can't get it back. I can't get the magic back, so we'll move on. My point is, people who put comedy first. God, I had so much more to do with that. I really did. Thanks, man. So I should use a different name, say Bob or something. Did you know my friend Bob? Was it jealousy? Is my theory correct? Or were you seething inside?
No.
Okay. Motherfucker. Fuck him. This should be my apartment. This is my apartment. I'm going to put poison in his short ribs. What is this? Oh, God. Again, the commercials I'm seeing. Oh, okay. Fox. That's what I was trying to say. The Fox News. Okay. All the commercials for the catheters. There's 4,000 different catheters. It's all old people stuff. And I saw the shitbox commercial again. There's a new technology where you don't have to go in for a colonoscopy. Your doctor writes a prescription. The drugstore sends a box that you shit in. And they doll up the box. It looks like something that Progressive Insurance comes in. And you shit in the box. You go into the bathroom. And again, the man in the commercial is a very well-to-do looking African-American gentleman, about 52 years old. And he strolls in his beautiful home in a cardigan sweater. And he goes into the bathroom. And the announcer says, and then you just go, referring to shitting. And the box talks. The box, that's the commercial. The box you shit into talks. And you send the box of shit to the hospital. They take tests. And they get the same results as a colonoscopy would get. So you don't have to go in through that hell of a colonoscopy. So that's the whole point of it. But you have to shit in the box. You can do it at home, though. That's the key. So they figure they make the box that you shit into a character. It's Shitbox. I don't know what they call the character, but we'll call him Shitbox. Shitbox Sally. Shitbox Sam. Pleasant voiceover. And then you take me and you put me in the bathroom and then you just go. And an African-American gentleman goes into the bathroom to go. And then this poor character, I guess you shit on him. You shit on the character that you're getting to like. He's a likable character. And then you realize he's the character you shit on. You shit on the character. It's like someone shitting on Bugs Bunny or something, or Captain Crunch. It's as if Captain Crunch you shit on. So you shit on, and then you patch me up and you send me to the hospital. So you see him walking out. You see the box walking out of the African-American gentleman's house. And you realize there's shit in the box. He's got a smile on his face. He's still talking with there's shit in him. They shit into him. And then I walk out to the truck. He walks out, and he gets in a UPS driver's arms. And the box of brown goes into the brown truck with a brown guy who's shitting to him, and the driver's brown. Not a white driver. A brown driver in a brown uniform in a brown truck goes to a brown guy's house and gets a box full of something brown.
God.
Why not get Jim Brown? Who, by the way, Dan Blue.
Oh, please.
Put that in, by the way, that's a great reference for a song parody. Put that in, guys. Next gay song parody.
Can I tell you something?
Work in the Jim Brown thing. What?
So the other day when I came to see you on the set.
The set of the HBO show?
Yes,
Judd Apatow produces that I'm a regular guy.
I went to Dairy Queen. I walked over to Dairy Queen. Got a Blizzard.
Is Dairy Queen where you guys meet? Like if gay guys want milk?
So it takes a while for the Blizzard to be made. Is it going to be one of those interviews?
I'm sorry.
And I walked over to the side, and they had a TV on, and there was a soccer game on. I think USA was playing, so I started to watch the game a little bit. And I saw a guy about a 40...
Olympics going on or something?
It's the European and American soccer. So I saw a guy with a tray. He bought a double cheeseburger. He bought an order of fries, and he bought a drink. And there was a young girl, probably about 21 or 22 years old, cleaning the tables right where I was standing. And we both saw the guy walk into the bathroom at the Dairy Queen. I'll wait till Artie gets back. And speaking of television appearances, Artie will be on the Jim Gaffigan show Sunday night, 10 o'clock Eastern. They're going to play 2 shows. The Jim Gaffigan show, Sunday night, 10 o'clock. Everyone else will probably be watching the basketball game. But DVR it. I hear it's a funny episode with Artie and Gilbert Gottfried and Jim, and I can't remember who the other two, Carrot Top, and I can't remember who the other person was. And he's coming back. So.
If you don't do anything else in the history of this business, you have to isolate the tape of you just segueing into that promo for the TV show. You're telling a shit story. I say I got to go piss, and you just calmly went, this has to get some sort of award. You went, and speaking of TV appearances, what the? I was laughing so hard. I don't want you to hear it to interrupt you because I was on the. I sit down to piss, of course. I sat down to piss on the toilet, and I forgot to put the toilet seat up, by the way. Like the whole lid. Like I sat on the actual, and I almost pissed on the. By the way, 2 times in the last month, I've gotten into the shower, really tired to get ready to go to these rehearsals, because, and I've gone to wash my feet, had socks on. I wish I was lying. But I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell the truth to my audience. 2 times. What does that say? Is it Alzheimer's? Is it just disgustingly fried brain cells? 2 times, Dan. 2 times in the last, I'm going to say, 35 days.
Wow.
Okay? I have gotten into the shower with the Sandman in my eyes because I'm rushing around to go to the fucking set. They have these set times on the set. We do the podcast wherever we want. I'm used to that. Fuck. Yeah. 2 times. I wash my hair, I shampoo I go to wash my. By the way, no easy task lately with my gut. But I got to wash my feet especially because of diabetes. If I get cracked feet and blood infected, I'll have no foot. So I go to wash my feet, and I have socks on, soaking wet socks. And twice a dirty Q-tip was attached to the bottom.
Oh.
Whatever comes out of your ear, nose, or sometimes I put it in my ass. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, a Q-tip. I had to wipe the Q-tip on. And then I threw the sock with the Q-tip into the hamper. And Dan or a Mexican washed it. Okay, wait. I'm preparing myself. That's a true story. But anyway, okay, I'm preparing for this. It sounds so disgusting already. Because we were out in Levittown, Long Island. We shot at a comedy club called Governors. That's where the Gina Gershon magic happened. Okay, you're in a Dairy Queen.
So there's a girl cleaning the tables, and I'm kind of sitting on the edge.
The girl hot?
Sure. And for Levittown. And we see the guy.
Jesus, Mr. Chicago.
We see
Mr.
the guy.
Paris of the Midwest.
We see the guy go into the bathroom.
Yeah.
And we both look at each other. I go, "Is that an exit?" And she goes, "No."
What do you mean, no? You thought he was leaving?
Yeah, I thought he was leaving.
Yeah.
And so I said, "So that's a bathroom?"
Right.
And she goes, "Yeah." So I wait so then right then the guy came and brought my Blizzard, and I put it down on the table, and I just had to figure out what he's doing. And
why?
Because I had to. I had to know.
Why is it odd that he walked into a bathroom, Dan?
With his food, a tray of his food.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And I walk into the bathroom.
Oh, no.
And there's only one stall.
Right.
And he's sitting on the stall eating. I could hear him unwrap the burger while he's taking a shit.
Well, were his pants down?
Yes. He was taking a shit.
So wait, you went in the bathroom just to see?
I had to see. So I walked out, and the girl looked at me. I go, "He's taking a shit," and he.
Well, how do you know he was shitting?
Because I could hear him.
You heard him shitting?
Yeah.
You heard him eating and shitting, like.
Yep.
Oh, damn, Jesus. By the way, you know, Dan, if I ever hear your shit, you have to leave.
Oh, good.
Dan's good about that. That is one of the, was he white?
No.
Okay, just a guess. I'll tell you, was he Hispanic, black?
He was about a 50-year-old African-American black guy.
You know what? Okay, you have to. I wish you would have interviewed him. You have to say, I feel bad for the gentleman. Do you think he's got Alzheimer's?
At 50? I just think he wanted to either save time or relax, and the restaurant was empty.
Relax. Could it be you're that creepy? Could it be you looked at you and said, you had those shorts on too? Did you look at your yellow
I
feet?
had no shorts on.
Oh, okay. Did you see your hairy arms?
I didn't want Gina Gershon to see my
Did you
legs.
see your hairy arms?
I know I wasn't
Maybe you
wearing.
said, damn, that's a creepy motherfucker. I'm gonna eat what I shit. Look at that motherfucker. I'm gonna eat what I shit. Dan, that is, that's disgusting. A cheeseburger.
Bacon double cheeseburger.
How do you know it was
large
bacon?
fry? Because he was right in front of me. In the line.
God. Oh my God.
And he tried to use some type of coupon that said it wasn't able. It's out of date.
I went to a cheap wedding once. My buddy got married. The entire cocktail hour, the buffet was in the bathroom. It was in the men's room at the Manor in West Orange. I'll tell you, that is so grotesque. That is so grotesque. It's hilarious, but it's grotesque. That's where women, I don't care how crazy or homeless or broke a woman is, they just never do shit like that.
No.
Men are so disgusting.
I know.
So disgusting. Oh, that's rhetoric. That's rhetoric. Okay, with a quick OJ thing, I just saw this reminded me of, I've been playing, people have been tweeting me old, clips and walks down memory lane of my career, and we've played some Mad TV stuff. They've been sending me a lot of Mad TV stuff that I was in that I'm really proud of, and a lot of Stern stuff. Yesterday we played the WAH thing. And because YouTube seems to be free reign, sometimes on the podcast I like to just, if someone sends it to me and they say they like it, on Twitter I tell them, look, I'll give you a shout out. I'll play it and tell, sometimes there's a story behind it or give an anecdote about it, and I'll play the clip. And this OJ special that we were watching made me think of this, sometimes you're a comic first. It should be that way. Bill Maher, that's why, I goof on Bill Maher a lot, but I am a fan of Bill Maher. As you could tell, I watch his show all the time. I DVR his show. We don't DVR much here. I DVR real time. It's also a way for me to stay up on politics and shit, and, quite frankly, it's important now. A lot of comics come in here not up on politics now, of all times. How could you not? It's just so much material. It's the world. And, a lot of OJ news now because they're having all these retros. But God, look at Katie Couric. Holy living Christ. She looks like the kid eaten by the alligator. No. Doesn't she? She looks like that kid that was eaten by the alligator. And may I say this? I speak for the family. I don't you wish it was Katie Couric who got eaten by an alligator?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, right?
She's such a bitch.
That poor wonderful kid. Nebraska kid. Oh. So white. That was a white kid, man. I'm sorry. Wrong meeting. No. Big blue eyes. Looked like a future ball player. They probably would have made him play soccer. Yeah, thank God thank God a boy's not. It's good that a boy's not in this world. It's good because the kid would have been a future Ryan Seacrest fan. Imagine how feminine the world's going to be in 20 fucking years. It's going down the fucking tubes, man. Down the tubes. No one's a man anymore.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Why? Because OJ can't decapitate his wife. That used to be okay in the 50s. Why? Well, you're effeminate. You're the reason.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Why?
Because on the lowest form of animal life on the planet, we're changing it because of the plastic.
You're the lowest form of animal life?
No, but they're now.
What are you talking about? Why does this make guys feminine? What are you talking
because
about?
There's a break. Because every scientist has proven there's much less sperm going around.
What do you mean going around?
Like men are producing less sperm, and less
so
sperm.
What does that have to do with? What does that have to do with?
So
it?
We're becoming more and more. Look at some of the guys that worked on the TV show.
Wait a minute. I don't understand anything you're saying.
There's less and less sperm because of what we're doing to our bodies. There's less and less.
What are we doing to our bodies?
Mostly it's plastics.
Plastics?
Yes. And in the animal world, on some of the lowest
You
form
are so left wing. Isn't that when Elizabeth Warren's book?
No. In salamanders are not being able. They're not reproducing anymore because the men are getting effeminate. The men salamanders.
That's got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. the men salamanders. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about society. I'm talking about working for a living. I'm talking about sharking. God, the tangents. Again, what the fuck was I talking about? You ruined it. Anyway,
Katie Couric, the alligator kid.
It's over now. Jesus Christ, it's over. Over. A new rule. When I'm telling the story, just new rule. Just pretend you're not here. Just pretend you're not even in the room. Think about Artie. Think about it. Is Artie doing a podcast somewhere? I wish I was there. But the kid, I was on the cover of the Daily News, the kid who got eaten by the alligator. So sad. So odd. And what an awful... I can't imagine those parents making it. That guy, they saw it. They saw the kid get told, the poor kid. Imagine seeing this thing you love, this thing you created, a living thing. It's part of you, and it gets taken like that. It's really, I mean, Disney... If I was on a jury, I don't care who's at fault. Disney's giving that family about $500 million. Get out your paycheck, because there should be, if that's even remotely a possibility, you shouldn't be allowed to park within 100 yards of where an alligator could do that. Not even close. Ridiculous, man. And first of all, how stupid. The media sometimes are so dumb. They had on like a friend of the family, or a relative maybe, because obviously the parents couldn't speak. And they were horrified. I forget who did this. CNN, Fox. It was one of the big ones. I forget which one. I'm going to find out, because I might want to call them out on this. And I think it was, I'm not positive. It might have been that blonde chick from New Day, the one that apparently was very, very active sexually when she was younger, according to her documentary about herself. She made a documentary about herself. That's what they asked the three hosts of New Day. They asked them to make films about them. Could you imagine the egos? And she said she really dated a lot. That was her words. I was dating a lot. And clearly she was banging everything that walked. She's very sexy. But Chris Cuomo, the biggest egomaniac on the planet, did a film about himself. How obnoxious do you think that was? So I think it was her interview. So it's on like a split screen, and they're talking to an animal expert, knows everything about alligators. And on split screen is a very, very sad, I think, family member of the kid who got eaten by the alligator. So this is the question, and the two can hear each other even though they're on split screen. This is the question she asked the guy, the animal expert. After the alligator takes the boy, what probably happened? Think about that question. Okay. So then the guy, he's like this idiot animal guy. And I'm sorry, animal people, you're idiots. And this idiot animal guy, he just starts talking, like he's so happy someone asked his opinion on something. He knows a lot about alligators, and someone asked him his opinion on something. He's not alone at lunch because no one wants to be around him for a change. People are like paying attention to him. Someone's interested in what the fuck he knows about alligators. So he just starts going into this rhetoric. I'll call it that. With the family member, he starts going, well, what they'll do is they'll try to drown it. They'll try really hard to drown it. And if the thing coughs and doesn't drown, he'll really try a lot of times to drown it. If it doesn't drown, he'll get mad at it and start shaking it really violently. And then what he'll do is, to get it in bite-sized pieces, he'll start chopping it up with his mouth. He'll chop up, he'll rip off an arm, he'll rip off a leg, and he'll start chopping up the piece of meat to make it bite-sized. And then he'll eat each bite-sized piece. And then the guy goes, oh, okay. What the fuck is that?
It's your phone, the house phone.
Who is it? If it's my mother, I gotta answer it. It's midnight.
Hello?
Dan, they stopped. It was a half an hour ago.
Hello?
Dan, it was a half an hour ago. You gotta get up and... Is there a way to see who it was? Who called? Let's end the podcast. I can't get into anything here. Right? The bottom line is, after the OJ verdict, I was living in at the time of the OJ verdict. I was living in L.A. Mad TV was in full throttle. We were about to premiere, and when the OJ verdict came down, I was living in an apartment in North Hollywood, and there were helicopters overhead. 3 years after the LA riots, and I was like, "Wow, they're getting ready for a riot." And the commute to Mad TV studio from where my apartment was, a good 20 minutes to a half an hour with traffic, and I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck, man? What if they're riots? This is going to be crazy. What if I'm that guy in the truck that Football Williams pulls out and hits with a brick? What if I'm Rodney Allen Rippey? What was his name? Reginald Denny.
Reginald Denny.
What if I'm Reginald Denny? What if I'm Reginald Denny and Football Williams or Soccer Steve or Baseball Barry?
What kind of car did you have back then?
I was driving my first car. I was driving a Cadillac Eldorado. I'm such a giddy. As soon as I had a few money, I bought a black Cadillac Eldorado with jersey plates. I was driving jersey-plated Cadillac Eldorado, brand new. I had shipped over here from a fucking Bloomfield Cadillac dealership. People thought I was a main member of the Lucchese family. Remember Spade used to see me in that car. He used to go, "Hey, I just saw you on the street, dude." He goes, "Why don't you just go? Do me a favor, just escort yourself to the edge of Hollywood and leave." Okay, Don Corleat. He said, Don Corleone. Don Corleone. Yeah, that's so fucking funny. And yeah, so by the way, Dan, why did you interrupt it with that? The car I drive, what a chick. You want to know what I was wearing too, Ryan? Mr. Seacrest, what were you wearing that day, Art? Oh, thank God, a Holston sweater on. What the fuck? I had a caddy. Then he laughs. I'm trying to tell a story. I get there, and Orlando Jones, who was my future roommate, one of my best friends, a black gentleman, we talked about the, I won't give his opinion on it. It's not my place. It might have changed, but we'll just say we sort of disagreed with a lot of the verdict. And, it was an interesting debate, because race was involved. It was a very weird time. A few years after, and think about that, all that was connected. You got an interracial couple, black man supposedly decapitating a woman. Of course, benefit of the doubt, there's a chance somebody else could have done it. Like, I guess, I don't know, Tony Dorsett. Who else could have done it? The riots, Rodney King. I mean, come on, a lot of crazy shit going on. By the way, I'm working on a character, LeBron Rodney King. If he wins tomorrow, it's him speeding through Northern California. The rest I don't have. The ending kind of writes itself, I think. LeBron Rodney King. Look for that. But yeah, so me and Orlando would kind of have a serious discussion about it. But then I don't know who wrote the sketch, but it was brilliant. Orlando played OJ, and if you remember, OJ put out a video where he describes why he didn't do it. He explained it. It was like a big thing, like an obnoxious thing that he put out on a video. So someone, one of the Mad TV writers, I wish I knew which writer it was. It could have been Patton Oswalt and Blaine. It sounds like it was up their alley, but I don't know. Orlando was a writer as well, a credited writer. I mean, we all wrote, but maybe it was Orlando's idea. But the idea was the outtakes of the video, okay? And I play the stage manager in the video. And my job is basically to laugh. But Mary Scheer, brilliant cast member, Mary Scheer. She was a groundling with Phil Lamar before the show. You see her in commercials sometimes. She went on to do a lot of critically acclaimed great stuff, Mary. But she was this great actress who was in the cast, and she played the woman hosting the video. And Orlando did the OJ. I think Nicole played the director and I was the stage manager. We did it on location at a house that looked like OJ's, but it was the outtakes. So it's Orlando as OJ trying to say he didn't murder the people, and he keeps laughing. He can't get through it. He keeps going. I did not murder those people. He goes, and then at one point he goes, "Can we cut?" And he goes like this to his neck, and he sees, he goes, They just cut to me, and all I had to do to get laughs was laugh. They cut to me, and I'm just going, like to the Nero Cape Fear. And it's one of Orlando's best performances in the 2 years on the show. And what's great about it, I even said this to him. I said, you know what's great about this is you're putting everything aside. This clearly makes OJ look like he did it. for comedy. And he's like, yeah, fuck it. We got to get laughs. It's like heroin. You got to get laughs. You do. And I always admired Orlando for that. I admire Bill Maher for it. Bill Maher abandons that fucking left-wing shit for a joke. Believe me, he does a lot. When he has a serious liberal on it, he offends him a lot because he goes for a joke. That's what comics do. But try to find, everything's on YouTube. Try to find, if you're out there, treat yourself. Mad TV sketch, Orlando Jones. Throw my name in, Nicole, maybe, if you want to make it a quicker search. But OJ Simpson outtakes. And it was a real video. He put out, that's what it was based on. He put out a video explaining why he didn't do it. And he, like, several times he tries to go, there's no way I was there. The blood in my car was from a dog. Great stuff. So, comedy first is my point. I want to thank Scott Raab. This was your bonus Saturday podcast, guys. We're trying. It was a rough week. Because I worked on the HBO show a lot, but 2 episodes of the can, and hopefully, there'll be some more stories. I work next week. I'm almost done, maybe the whole fucking series here. It's an exciting thing, but nothing's more exciting than doing this show for you people. And I'll answer Dan's irrelevant questions off the air now. The car I was driving. All right, so Scott Raab, thank you. Take care. Danny, I love you. Brush your hair. We did 3 for you this week. We got 3 in.
Right.
With working on the weekends, right?
Monday, Doug Stanhope.
Monday, the great Doug Stanhope. As good and unique and original as a comic gets, the great Doug Stanhope is in here live. And as Danny said, and speaking of, the best segue, appearances. Tomorrow I'm on Gaffigan. That'll probably get a lot of viewers, right? As Steph Curry shooting a 3-pointer. Now watch the Gaffigan thing, whatever. It's, me and Gilbert and Carrot Top are in a prison with Gaffigan. It's a dream sequence, and we're in orange jumpsuits. It's me, Gilbert.